So today we're reviewing
Thor: The Dark World.
Thor: The Dark World is basically picking up after Avengers, just like Iron Man, and Loki is being presented to Odin, and Loki basically gets locked up, and Thor is bringing peace to the Nine Realms. He actually brings peace to the Nine Realms by the beginning of the movie.
This is the seventh movie in the MCU. Initial thoughts. I've actually I did not see this in the theater, but now it's been on TV a lot, so I've actually been able to rewatch it a few times now, and there's a lot of parts that I liked about it. I know a lot of people try to act like this is the worst movie in the MCU, which I guess you could say it's it's obviously in the bottom half.
Least favorite.
I definitely liked it. I've been able to watch it a few more times on TV. Like we didn't see it in theater, but I've been able to watch it definitely on TV a lot. The acting is really good. I definitely like I said, it's not my top half of the MCU, but it's not a bad movie.
Yeah, my initial thoughts. I think this is a decent movie. I said in the other review that it was kind of on par with Captain America, the first Avenger, but there is a lot of good scenes in this. The action's good. The acting is good between most of the actors, and I like how it takes more place on Asgard. But yeah, I thought this was a decent movie. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
So my main positives for this movie are definitely that first opening fight sequence. I guess it's sort of a flashback thing, but when it leads into the fight where Thor is,
Thor's dad fighting.
Yeah,
Thor.
That's pretty cool too. But the scene I was talking about was when they're in that battlefield and that rock thing walks over to him and he takes it out easily. That's probably my favorite scene in the movie. I definitely liked, like he said before, the acting is really good. Definitely like one major complaint that a lot of people had with not only this movie, but then the first one was Thor's relationship between his girlfriend, Jane. I mean, people try to act like it's just one of the worst relationships in a movie, which I've watched it a bunch of times now, like both movies, and I'm not saying exactly what they were saying. Like, I'm not saying it's the greatest performance I've ever seen in my life, but it's definitely not bad. It definitely didn't ruin the movie for me. I definitely liked a lot of the stuff with Loki, and that prison sequence is pretty cool. I'll definitely admit that, kind of like Thor, I don't really know what really. I've seen the endings. It's just not very memorable to me. Like where they're going through the portals and like going to different worlds. Like that stuff, that's fine. I definitely didn't really like it, but I didn't hate it either.
Yeah, my positives, there are I really like the beginning scene where I like the flashback where you see Odin's dad fighting and how you can see that battle. And there's a scene where Thor is in a prison. I don't remember the scene, but Thor grabs a guy and like snaps his neck. Because he goes in the prison and just starts taking him out. That's in the middle of the movie. The action is good. And then I like how Loki, the conversation he has between his mom, because he really has no connection with his dad, but his mom kind of brings out the good in him. And he's like evil other than that, but that's one person that he actually likes. The fight between Thor and the Curse on that one planet was definitely, he deflects Thor's hammer, which is a pretty good feat.
But now everyone is doing that.
Well, yeah, now he doesn't have it, so yeah.
So the main negatives for me probably are the whole storyline with like when the girl messes with something and then she's like something's inside of her. That stuff didn't really necessarily work for me.
Yeah, that was a little.
The whole fight seems at the end. Parts of it were pretty I thought it was funny how they kind of went down the glass. How they took that villain out, I thought it was really cool how they set him up, like in the prison. He killed that one guy and then set everyone free. And from what I'm told, I don't really remember it really that well. He's not really dead. He just gets put into a different portal, which kind of leaves the door open for maybe him to come back at some point. So that's probably my biggest negative. Once again, is that one girl character, and not just her. Just some of the stuff that happens on the planet or planet Earth, like their whole storyline. Because I think they're actually a pretty integral role of like closing the portal, which is just I don't know. I wish they could have more of Thor like closing or something like that. I don't know. Maybe if they focus on him more, which they do in the Thor Ragnarok, it's probably why I liked it more. Just more time with Thor and less time with those characters.
Yeah, it can definitely get pretty confusing. Because the nine realms are converging, and that's what Malekith has to wait for. And that is kind of the whole thing with the ether, which is the reality stone, is definitely confusing. I mean, for people that don't watch a movie, why would you ever think that this thing, the floating thing that's floating, is an Infinity Stone? I guess they can't state it in the movie.
But see, that's actually a major problem for me. That's for both of us. The whole Malekith guy. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's definitely not the worst villain of all time. That's in my opinion. He's not one of the best ones, but the fact I didn't even mention him in either of my descriptions just says he's just really forgettable. Really.
Yeah, it's literally just
not.
He's just like it's like a gauntlet, just walking around. He's just holding the Infinity Stone. He's not. It's not that he was like terrible. He just wasn't in this movie.
I mean, there's a lot of movies where there's just forgettable villains. They're there.
It doesn't make me hate the movie. It just doesn't. It would make me like the movie better if he was a better villain. But the thing with how they came back to Earth, I don't understand. That's why Thor Ragnarok was so great. They stayed away from Earth because they come back and fight near that, and then the human characters are somehow making the portals. It just definitely gets a little out there. Another negative, it's really mostly the negatives are just the Earth-based stuff, and it's not because it's a girl for that one character. It's not just because that, because even the guy, the dad, like he's running around naked, and I don't really know that he was getting like some vision and stuff.
Yeah,
I just think that stuff was really unnecessary. And they're like carrying around their spears and Thor. I mean, I just don't think that was necessary.
It's not a girl thing at all. I mean, Thor Ragnarok is probably one of my favorite MCU movies, and that's led by multiple girl characters. So no one even go there.
So we're gonna talk about some bigger stuff in the movie, like the main death scene. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen this movie, but you obviously don't care. Thor's mom dies in the middle of the movie, which was definitely emotional, and I thought the way that she taught Jane how to do the magic was good. I definitely thought it was emotional death, and that's just one of the bigger things we had to talk about. I found my negative. So, yeah, it starts. They go in that building, and there's, like, kids, and there's a floating truck. And they're, like, near a parking garage, and she gets the signatures off the trucks,
I remember that.
And they go in, and there's this kid, and he just lifts up a truck.
Yeah, they're, like, jumping through, they're throwing stuff through the floor, which it's definitely confusing. I mean, if you follow the movies, it's not that confusing. I mean, if you just accept what's going on. But if you're just, like the general audience goer, I mean, that's... So my final thoughts on this movie are that I definitely enjoyed it. There's a lot of stuff that I liked about it, even though there are some negatives that kind of take down the movie a little bit for me. I liked it probably a little bit less than the first Thor, just because there was a little bit less fight sequences that I didn't like, or that I did like. The acting's like just great across the board. There's really no MCU movie that has bad acting, so that's not really. It's always a positive for me. So my final score for this out of 10 would probably be a 7.8.
Yeah, and mine is going to be around 7.5 because, I mean, it wasn't terrible at all. I mean, honestly, all my reviews are probably going to be between 7 and 10 just because I really like superhero movies, so I'm rarely going to walk out of a superhero movie angry. So that was our review of Thor: The Dark World. We're in the next movie on the list. Our next movie that we'll be reviewing, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. So we'll see you guys in the next movie review. Bye, guys.